Hello, and welcome to Dawn's Craft Riot, and welcome to August. Thank you for being here with us on August 1st. A super cool day, or a super hot day, actually, in most of the places I'm aware of. Okay, for today's show, or today's project, or whatever, however you like to call it, I would like to make a card. I don't know exactly what kind of card I'd like to make. I have an idea. I keep seeing cards on the internet and going, oh, I want to make a card like that. And the one that I've noticed most frequently, or that I've been drawn to most frequently recently, is a card where the whole front of the card has a, it's mostly white. It's like a white background with black pattern of some sort, but you only see that around the edge because then there's another piece, a big piece of a pattern paper, and then they use a stripe across or a ribbon or something and then put their sentiment or focal point on there. So that's kind of what I was thinking about doing, but when I started looking at these papers I had all kinds of ideas. And also I really want to incorporate, pardon me, one of my I'm sorry about that blur. There's a blur again. He's a 20th century man. Come on. Come on, Blur. You're a great band, but we don't need to see you on the camera. So what I'm trying to use to focus my camera is a gelatin print. And I'd really like to incorporate one of the gelatin prints that I've made into my card. So surprise, here it is. Here's the print I'd like to incorporate, but I'm not sure if we're going to get this print incorporated into this card or exactly what, although it does look good with the paper pack that I'm trying to use. So let's look at those papers and then make some choices. Oh, don't put the blurry things there. Go, camera. Don't be so blur. Oh, good. This one has a pattern on it. So the paper pack that I'm digging out of, and I did take these gray ones out of a different color book pack, but I'm using color book. These are packs that I found at my dollar store. I think they must have been packs past their prime that ended up moving out of proper, you know, big stores or whatever. Proper stores, like a dollar store isn't a proper store. Of course it is. Listen to me go. Anyways, I got these at the dollar store. This particular one was $4, so the way that dollar stores work around here is not always the same. Some have set pricing. This one's called the dollar store with more. They had different prices. Hi Miko, thank you for being here. I'm picking my papers and yammering on about my card. So you made it just in time to see everything. Oh, and I'm going to stop for another sip of coffee out of this gorgeous, gorgeous mug. You see in there? Can you see in there? No. It's so pretty and green. Anyway. Yum. That's what you need on a hot day, a nice hot cup of coffee. Alright, so this color book pack, this one is a pattern pack. I don't know. Oh, it's called Veranda. It says Veranda, but I don't know. Like I say, I think these were probably well out of date by the time they made it to the dollar store, but pretty paper is pretty paper, so I'm not going to worry about it. Hi, Berry Nice. Hi, everybody who came in and I didn't notice. I apologize. If you come in and I don't see you, it's not because I was trying to ignore you. It's just because it's hard for me to see. I've got my desk, my camera, or my work table, my camera, and then my desk, and then my computer screen. So it's about 4 feet away from me. Luckily it's huge, but still I don't see everything going on up there. Alright, so back to the idea for this card, wherein there's a background with a pattern, and then a background with a mild pattern. Oh, thank you for tweeting. That's awesome. Oh, geez, there's a whole bunch of us. I felt bad when I saw that somebody else steamed at the same time as I steamed. You streamed at the same time as I did, because then I thought, oh, I can't even go see her show and I can't ask her to be at mine. But, oh well, at least we record, right? So, anyhow, back to my card, which, like I say, I haven't figured out yet. I think I'm going to scrap the idea of the black and white with the pattern on top. I think I'm just going to move this to the side unless it seems to call for it later. And I also have a few other, you saw on top before, the cream, the black, and the brown cardstocks. I just brought those out in case I wanted to stamp or cut them up into a strip or use it as the background for the card or something. But like I say, I'm still completely undecided. I know I'd really like to use the embroidery floss that Kath sent to me so long ago when I lived in the other house. So long ago, and I haven't used it yet, but it's so pretty. I'd really like to involve it in this. Oh, the other thing is that this pattern paper from this color book pad is paperweight. It's not cardstock weight, it's more like a regular paper, so it's very light. Hi, Shirley. So I want to have a proper cardstock background. And I'm trying to decide what... Oh, that's really pretty, guys. This is really pretty. With the... it's almost super hard to see in here, but it's a maroon color in the background. It's more red than the color here, but it still ties in. Oh, and it ties in with that. I think I'm going to have to use this piece as the main big piece. Some section of this is the front of the card, which leads me to believe that I should have a long card that's top folded. Well, it's very nice to see you. I'm gonna, you talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna continue trying to figure out. These papers are too pretty. Oh, these papers are too pretty for me to decide. I'm going to take the top part off, just so I can see what I'd be left with once I get, you know, I wouldn't want the perforation part in the card, so let's see how much of this green edge I've got left. Sorry, green edge. Yes, it's there. Let me zoom out. Now that the machine realizes that I have, oh nice, saw Vince's post, cool. Now the machine realizes that I do in fact have a camera, which is what I was trying to fight with it this morning. It had no detection of my camera. All right, I think I have too many papers out to be making a choice on. I think those are going to be my main papers. I don't think I'm going to find anything nicer than that. And I could go with the dark brown behind, and the green at the bottom I think looks really pretty. But I think that this red makes a nice contrast with this greeny yellow. But now I need something for the focal point, so maybe we can look through these again and see if we find something we could cut out. I think that might be a bit big and the wrong kind of flower. So let's just have a flip through these papers. It's always nice to look through a pad of papers anyways, right? And see if there's anything we can cut out to make a focal point. Well, these are kind of cool. And they're the same color. Well, okay, I'm keeping that in mind. The black, this one here. No, the black with the flowers, sorry. It's a dark brown, but yes, it is beautiful. And there's, can you see it? It's really hard to see. There is a butterfly, 2 butterflies on this page. You can almost see a hint of them. There. It's very beautiful. So, but I'm going to keep this in mind for a focal point. There's more of the butterflies. They've gone a different direction on this one. They've put the pattern. It's so hard to see. Oh, yes. And my camera can't even figure it out. It has a beautiful pattern going on. Ooh, and there's the orange one. Let's skip the orange. Unless there's a good flower. Now that gets cut off at the perforation, so it's not really the right kind of flower either. But I do think maybe we should pull out a sheet of this. You can see them if you squint. I think stripes might be good, because I do want to put that line of a focal across. I love this. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. It's not going to work for this card, I don't think, but I love it. This one I think does have black as opposed to the brown that the other ones have. More green. I love this striping as well. I'm going to pull that out too, just in case. So we have stripe options. Well, that's kind of lovely, but maybe a little bit too big. These are kind of neat too. Could maybe even cut one of those up. Guys, what do you think? What should I do? Kind of want to cut up one of these to put on there. It's quite beautiful too. Hello, Munganana. And anybody else that I might have missed who popped in while I was looking at the paper trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my focal point. I really love this paper. Oh, here we go. Here's the focal point kind of paper. That's what I'm talking about. And there's some more nice stripes. Alright, I'm pulling out more stripes. More options for stripes. And I'm pulling out this paper so maybe we can find a focal point there. Okay. Okay, she sighs. I'm just gonna have a sip of coffee. Move that. Although we might want some flowers from here too. And I don't think we need this background. So I guess what we need to do is get our card base going. And I think I'm going to use the brown. Let's get the trimmer up. I'm going to use my brown paper as my card base, and on the inside I can just write with my really cool Signo pen, so we can, no worries about writing on it. And I'm going to cut the paper long ways in half, so 8 1/2 gives me 4 1/4. This paper is 8 1/2 inches, so I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4. I'm going to keep the trimmer nearby. And I'm going to grab out my scoring tool. Just score it. I'm going to find which side I want facing inwards, which I think is this side. I'm going to score it right in the middle. Oh, I'm making a card today. And so I was in the process of figuring out exactly what papers to use. I still, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to need the trimmer for the front of that. I still haven't figured out exactly how the card is going to be. Well, I know it's going to be a card. I know that for absolute certain. I really just wanted to do yeah, it's an adventure. I really wanted to do more gelatin plate printing, but since I did the last episode about that, oh, and I want to show you here. Let's take a detour from the card for a second, because the last show I did, we did circle masks, or basically like isolation masks on the gelatin plate, so you can get circle prints. And what I did after the show was cut this giant circle, which is actually a little bit bigger than my gelatin plate, but it made for some really nice circle portions. And anyhow, I just, you know, giant circle mask, anybody? Sorry, that was off track. Oh, cool. I don't always do cards, but I often do cards. Let's say that. So we got the paper long ways cut in half and then folded in half. This is just, I think this is dollar store cardstock. It doesn't have to be crazy heavy because we're going to be putting all this other paper on it. So my first sheet, I want to cut to, I am going to leave a little edge, a little matted edge. Wasn't that a huge circle? Where are we? I'm going to very carefully maneuver my camera, guys. Don't get sick, and hopefully the camera will stay connected. This is what I was doing before when I completely lost camera last time. It seems to be fine at this point. Okay, so you can mostly see what I'm doing. Yay. Once we cut this paper down, it'll be better. So get that trimmer back up here. And let me think about my paper. So as we said, it was 4 1/4. This will be 5 1/2. So I'm going to want 4 1/8 and 5, and oh man, I'm not going to want to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to count by the if I just went, if this is 4 1/4 and this is 5 1/2, why don't I just go down 1/4 inch? I'll go 4 by 5 1/4. That's what I'll do, guys. Because I'm a math nitwit. That's correct. I'm going to go 5 1/4. I'm going to go 4 inches exactly. Oh, that's got a folded down corner. I really like this flower, but I want to take the corner without the folded down edge. So I'm going to cut it down to 4. I'm not a master card maker, but I do enjoy making them. So yes, I like to make it easy on myself. That's what I go for. And easy for you guys too. I mean, some people are math whizzes and whatnot, so you can figure it out any which way you want. As long as it ends up looking good, I think we're all set. So I'm going to use some aged mahogany because this is sort of very similar in color to this, to edge this sheet of paper here. I can tell that I need a new blade on my trimmer because I'm getting a pilled up edge, and if it really bothered me I could go ahead and file that down, but just put some ink on it and nobody will ever notice. Of course, you don't have to use Distress ink. You could use whatever ink. You could edge that with brown or black or not edge it at all. Do whatever you want. Seriously, guys. Have fun. Okay, so my next step is finding out what part of this card, what part of this would I like to be on the front of this. And I think I'll do the same. I'm going to cut this down 1/4 inch smaller on both sides. So I think I want this big one up on the top here, and then we'll put the banner across and put our little focal point down below. So we'll skip out this tall one that's over at the edge, and we'll go for this set here. So I'm going to mark this out. With a ruler. I think I have a ruler. One that doesn't advertise for a phone company would be great. I'll flip it over. There we go. I'm going to mark it out with a ruler, and then I'm going to cut out. I wish my brain would work some days. I'm going to cut my paper down smaller and then trim it to the size that I want, so we don't have to work with this big giant piece. Oh, come on. I got the shakes. I got the coffee shakes, guys. And the working with super thin paper shakes. As you do. There we go. Oh, you're getting ads. Well, I'm glad they're enjoyable ads. Oh, you mean this ad? Yes. Wish they'd treat the animals better, but let's not even go there today. Let's just avoid all of that controversy today. Okay, so I need to cut this down because it should be right around the same size. And I'm going to cut it down 1/4 inch on the long side and the short side, but I think I might cut it in on both sides. So, that's going to be a real pain in my patoot, so I guess I'm not going to do that. Alright, so 1 inch, 1/2 an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to put it at my 1/4 inch line. Just trim it down. I'm going to probably have to erase a little bit of my pencil line. But I'll cut one of the pencil lines off and that'll be good. Better than nothing. So there is a bit of pencil at the top up here I'm just going to take off. I guess I could ink in and you wouldn't notice it either. So there's that piece, which is kind of nice. Yes, yes, I love Ustream because it is free, and if that means that you have to see an ad every once in a while, then that's okay. I'm going to use mahogany on this as well, because it's going to sit on top of that other thing. And because I think once the mahogany gets up on the green, it'll be like the brown that's on there already anyways. And I spread some of that ink down further than it had been. That's handy. Instead of wiping it off, I'll just spread it further down. It matters not to me, or Homercles cares not for beans, as they say. Aren't they pretty? Yeah, I like them too. I like them in the yard, and I like them on my card. And that rhymes, so it has to be true. That's the rule, right? If it rhymes, it's got to be true. Well, that's almost finished right there. I don't even know that we need a stripe across it. Although, probably a stripe across it would make it look kind of awesome. Let's pull out the stripey paper. Make decisions. So I definitely think we need some of this orange, because as much as I think that's absolutely gorgeous, I think we... I'd love yards that are full of weeds, unless I have to pull them. If I have to pull the weeds, then no way, man, not into it. And this is the part where I'm looking at all the different groupings of blue against here. I never even imagined you guys would have a yard because you're in the city. I always thought city, but all right, I'll hold it up on the side so maybe we can see. I really like some of that light blue in there. I wonder about this top section with the burgundy, blue, brown, and then the two kinds of greens. I think that might actually look quite nice, but then we won't get that orange. Oops, sorry. In front of your house. Yes, exactly. The difference between a weed and a flower is an opinion. That's true. Although, I don't know. I guess I'm a big fan of natural things. I prefer a mossy area to a lawn, for example. All right, let's cut a section of these. Oh, here's another section that might actually be super cool. Right here. But that's the one I'm doing. I found the section I want, guys. Let's cut it out. And then we'll work on the flower choice for the focal point. Oops. Or the... Well, I guess those look like flowers because they're drawn like flowers. Alright, now... Oh, why doesn't this fit in my trimmer? Because it's longer than 12 inches because it's got this tab on it. Flower growing in the wrong place. Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. A weed is a flower growing in the wrong place. I agree. Okay, so I want... Oh, and that's the other thing with these Fiskars trimmers with the wire. If you look and see which side of the wire your blade is on, I mean, I'm sure some people can remember, but I never do. If you look to see what side of the blade it's on, you can get a really precise idea of where you're going to cut, which is handy. And if I go this way, we'll get some of this orange on here as well. Super cool. Then we just have to cut it down to fit on the card. I think I'd like it to go over, I think I'd like it to go the entire width of the card. which is 4.5. I have to turn it in such a way that I can actually measure. 4.5. And again, I'm going to edge it with this same aged mahogany. That's nice. That's nice flowers or plants that the farmers were getting rid of so that they're not in their crop fields are now being sold as beautiful flowers in bouquets and such. Yes, exactly. It really is a matter of perspective. Isn't all life, though? Isn't it all? Alright. Move the trimmer out of the way. Let's stick some of these things down. I think we're at a stage where everything will be... It's reasonable to stick these things down. And I'm just going to use double-sided tape, so this could take a little while here while I cut me some double-sided tape and stick it and pick it, as they say. As nobody says. Nobody says that. Stick it and pick it. Sounds very rude, really. Alright, sorry I'm off camera. I took a big strip of this tape and I've stuck it to my table. And now I'm going to cut it up. I guess I'd prefer it to be in the corners. This is Miracle tape that I'm using. That I will be using until it runs out, and then who knows what we'll find next. And get a couple pieces for the middle. Right. I can't believe how hot it is here. My goodness, guys. Hello, everybody who came in. I see that there's viewers that I didn't notice because I was busy being indecisive. Alright. Close this. I'll get a better view. Now, I didn't have to take all of that tape off at once. If you have more sense than I do, you won't take all your tape off at once. Or maybe you're better at sticking things down perfectly than I am. And then you can take all your tape off at once and have no worries. That worked out okay. There we go. Oh, you use the runner. Sure. Xyrons work great. Yeah, that's true. I was gifted a Xyron, but it's very old, and so all the stuff inside had dried up, and I haven't been able to find anywhere around me that carries the cartridges that fit. So right now I'm working with the Miracle tape I picked up some years ago when I was in Las Vegas. The roll has been keeping me stuck, I might say, for some time. Alright, I've used all the tape I pulled off of there. Now, I have in past cut these down, cut the tape in half. I just don't feel like doing that right now. So you bought your tape runners off of the shopping network. I bought a tape runner at Walmart, of all places, but that's what I have around me, and it was great, and it worked awesome, and I was enjoying it, and it ran out really quickly. They do carry refills there, but I'm thinking if the refills are, like, if they run out that quickly, maybe I should get one of those giant tape guns or something. And you shop on Amazon. Nice, yeah, Amazon's good, I find. Usually, I mean, sometimes people are sending you something that isn't what it says it is. That sometimes happens. Alright, so making sure that my card is right side up. I'll line this up as good as I can. Again, I'd taken the tape off before I stuck it down, but what are you going to do? C'est la vie. So there we got the two sheets. We got this matted on the brown. Yes, yeah, the tape guns are a bit awkward to use, although I did see a lady, I've cut this a little bit longer than it needs to be. I saw a lady, let me start again. One of my favorite YouTubers was using one of those big guns, and she was having a hard time. It was getting stuck on her, but then somebody else, another YouTuber, showed her that you can put a little cardboard shim inside. I guess the tape gets stuck sometimes on the outside edge. Oh yeah, it's hard to use too if you've got a big, if you're doing something small. But I've seen people, like I say, put this shim in, and it stops the tape from getting stuck on the edge when it's rolling, and then it rolls up really great. So she was complaining, the lady I was watching, pardon me, I stopped working. Shouldn't stop working, I can work and talk. She was, I say complaining, but that's not right. She was, I was watching her have issues with it, and then all of a sudden she came back with this new shim, and it worked great, and she has been using, I think, nothing else but it since. Alright, so let me use one of these. Now, if you know me well, you'll know I'm looking at the green ones. I love green, but I think actually maybe a blue one is going to work better. I mean, I know that they made these pads because they match each other, so let's cut out a few of these and see where it goes. Give ourselves some options. Cut out a section that's got a few things going on. And maybe cut out, I was going to say this big, well, I don't know if it's going to be too big or what. We'll find out. Cutting, cutting, cutting out the flowers. You could cut and cut for hours if you're cutting out the flowers. I hope we don't cut for hours, though. That seems like too long of a thing to do for your Ustream video. What do I want? I really want this one, but maybe it's too big. No. Sod it. I'm having this one. Of course, these are just an idea of a flower. Yeah, isn't it nice? I agree. So I'm just gonna cut out around the outside part, and I'm not gonna do like fussy cutting or anything. Well, it's a bit fussy for the big scissors I'm using, but I'm not going to worry. Ain't nobody got time to worry about these flowers anyways. Sorry, I can't form coherent thoughts and cut. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna cut. Hold your tongue like this and cut. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Held my tongue in the wrong spot and cut too close. I guess I'm gonna be fired for my flower cutting out job. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This isn't a job, it's a choice. Okay, that is so cool. I like it very, very much. Turn it, you can see a couple of things sticking out. Actually, I like it better on this side. What? My whole plan went for a jog. Holding it like so, yeah. And that's why I don't put a camera on my face. That and the fact that I only have one camera. That's the one. I'm cutting out the green one too. Will I use it? I don't know, but it sure is pretty and it's green and I like it. So let's cut it out too. So my tongue isn't exactly out so much as it's pressed behind my teeth in a very nervous stance. Ugh. How come they didn't send me die cuts? Send me. I bought this in the dollar store. How come they didn't include die cuts of these flowers? I guess they figured I could cut them out myself. I kind of super like that. Super like it. I don't even know if that's a possible thing. To super like something. And then maybe we'll put the sentiment sort of coming off of this one. Layering is good, I agree. You think the green is a better size? I do agree too, that the green is a better size. Although it's, if I did, even, I have the, I wish my brain would work with my mouth in conjunction. I have that one in the same size, but I'm afraid that what I really wish is that it was in the medium size, this red one. But everywhere where it's sort of medium, it's cut off the edge. Sorry. As I stop thinking to let my brain run. Well, maybe let's cut down this blue one and see. Because it's right in between. It's right in between. So let's see what the blue one's like. Because everybody wants me to cut out another flower. Oh, good grief. At least these are easy to cut out. I remember the day that I was cutting out the doll, the Prima doll stamp over and over. That's a little bit more fussy. So I'm not going to feel bad that I've wasted time on my show cutting out 3 of these. You know, any number of which I might not use. Yes, how about the blue one? Yes, good call, Vince. You know how I think. And how I think is, I don't know, should we do it? Let's try. Oh, it doesn't look great? Let's try something else. Blue makes me think blue skidoo, you can too. That's an old show. Guess not that old. It's not even from my own childhood, so I guess it's really not that old of a show. There we go. I could put it on the edge of the card. That's true. Yes, like that. Put the red one coming off the edge. Let's take the orange one. We'll cut out flower number 4. Just to make it even. I think we might have to put that big red one, just because if you don't, there's so much background showing. I could put it off. I could put it off the edge. Do 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 do. That's actually kind of neat. I almost don't need this anymore unless I pop it over. Oh, and now it's definitely the wrong way. What about if we went like that? Oh yes, I could definitely use it on another card. That's super true. I do agree with that. But I kind of like this, actually. And then again, we'll still put the sentiment across. I don't know. Let's fuss about with it for a bit. No, I like that blue one. The blue one's definitely got to stay. Maybe that can be scrapped. I said scrapped, and then I started thinking of scrapopotamus or something. Yeah, no, I want that stripe in there too. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick this guy down right about here, and then we're going to stick this back on. And then we're going to put that guy down there. No, we're going to put this one in front, turned a bit, and then this one down here, and then we'll put our sentiment on, and then it'll be awesome. Well, at least it'll be good enough that we could give it to somebody as a card. Yay! So, let's work on our sentiment before I start sticking anything down in case we want to tuck it behind. And also, I did want to get some of this beautiful embroidery floss involved, so maybe we can do that on the sentiment, which I think maybe we should still put on this same. Let's cut this paper down a bit so it's a bit smaller, but it's got the same stripes, and then we can stamp our sentiment onto some more of that brown card. And let's do a embossing technique. I knew it was in there. I knew it. I knew somewhere in my brain is the word. I've got all this stuff up here for embossing, so let's emboss. Maybe I can move all of these stacks of sheets of paper. Oh, and good, I found the brown cardstock, which we're going to need. I think we could stamp in. Guys. There's so much dilemma every time you come to something. I think I might have a blue pigment ink that we could stamp in and then emboss with clear is what I'm trying to get out of my brain there. Good grief. No, I think we better just do embossed white. I think that's the way to go. So let's get the white embossing. Not clear, but white. There we go. Actually, you know what might be even nicer than white? Might be copper. I think copper would look really good. Let's try it. Let's try it with copper. So I want to cut that down. We'll need the cutting device. But I don't want it too narrow. Let's stamp first and see exactly how big our sentiment is before we do any cutting. How about that? That sounds reasonable to me. We're going to need the embossing thing. We're going to need, I guess I'll do the stamping rig. Put that underneath. We'll stamp with something we can emboss with, the Versamark. Let's find out what we want to put on there. Let's find something that's not too big and not too small. I think maybe actually I really like this You're the Best. It's from a Hero Arts set. It's right at the top. You're the Best. It's hard to read. I think it'll go lovely on the brown. So let me just grab out an acrylic block. This one will work. Just lay it down. I want to do as little cutting as possible, but I want to give myself options. So I'm going to stamp it partway in the middle. So there's room to cut all around it. And if we want to get a long strip, we've got that available to us. Okay, so I'm going to pick that up. Make sure that my embossing is ready to go. Oh, see you later. See you lady. See you later, Shirley. Thank you for coming. Some days my mouth gets twisted on itself. Oh yes, and I still haven't cleaned my Versamark ink pad from the time that I gunked it all up. But since I'm not stamping in clear, good thing I was gonna say good thing I didn't do that clear stamping idea, but no, I would have used the blue pigment ink. But alright, so this is Versamark. Super good for embossing. Stamp it down, try not to press too hard. Give it good firm pressure. lift it up, and let's get that embossing powder on it. Oh, and I forgot to use my tool. This might be too fine of words to get a good embossing, but we'll find out. I forgot to use my powdery tool. But I don't think any powder stuck anywhere else. Can you see? It was just barely coming up on your screen there. It's very subtle, but it looks super cool. Definitely all embossed. Alright. What I should have done was emboss that onto a piece of, dump this onto a piece of paper, but instead I put it into this container, so we might as well get it. I like to just get the little bits in this container and not all of the stuff I've used, but you know, sometimes you're on live TV or live streaming and your brain shuts off. At least that's been my experience. I guess saying that your brain shuts off is a little bit much. I'm going to clean my stamp by spraying water on my thing and a little stamping mat and scrubbing it. I know your brain doesn't shut all the way off because then you wouldn't be breathing or whatever, but it feels like your brain shuts off. Anyway. It says, you don't need to think of these things. They're not important. Don't forget, you're on camera. Everyone can hear your chair clicking or whatever. Whatever it is. Okay, so this can be pretty narrow. I think maybe I'm going to cut a bit of the orange stripe and all of the burgundy stripe off of this piece. Yes, I do have a cutter. Here it is. Where'd it go? Who knows? Try and get this lined up straight. It's harder to do. Oh yeah, it's hard to do when you got the knife in the middle of everything, but it's harder to do when you're just taking a tiny little edge off. But I'll do my best. Try and keep it lined up as possible. And the sharper the blade, probably the better. So, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to say that out loud, but that's exactly it. But it happens more for me when I'm on camera than when I'm in my life. Although it happens plenty in my life, too. As you may have guessed. Okay, I still need the trimmer. I've done it again, guys. I'm going to lose my mind. Oh wait, I already did. I'll have to find it again, then I'll lose it again. Oh, that's kind of fun, flipped upside down. I'm going to cut it off right around here. I really should do this with a trimmer. It's going to be a crooked mess if I don't, so I'll pick it back up and trim it up. And I'm sorry I don't have measurements for you because I just don't operate that way. Measurements have never been my friend. I think I'm going to cut it off sort of square at the end and do like a tag tab thing on this end. So cut in. Oh, now I'm using different scissors than I was using before. That's fancy. Cut in like a so. And then I'm going to stick it on this. Where's that piece? Of course, I didn't quite make it small enough. The trials and tribulations of people who are winging it. That is my life. No, I'm going to have to cut it with my scissors. You didn't think that'd be good to say on air? Well, that's awesome. Thank you for saying it in the chat. It makes my day more fun. If it's possible. If it's possible. I'm not even sure it is possible. Okay. Let's stick this down. I guess I will have to use my miracle tape for this too. I don't know where my glue went. There must be glue in this place. Oh, look. I do have glue. Hooray, I'll use it. This is all cardstock, so it won't get bubbly or weird if I use this. I'm using the Elmer Craft Bond Quick Dry Glue. I would rather be using Tombow Mono Multi, but I do not have any and cannot get any at this time in my area. I'm hoping that that will change. I found a place that sold it, and you know, right after I bought some and whatnot, they closed. So that made me sad. I'm not inking this brown paper because it's brown all the way through, but I am going to ink the edges of this other paper. I might actually have to use my, come on brain, my Distress markers. Oh, I got glue sticking out. I put glue everywhere just because it's hard to get into that little corner with the pad, although you can. If you go like so, you can get some ink in there. So I'll ink up the edges of that guy. I don't think I'm going to ink the edges of the flowers. And again, I could use the markers for that. This year the best is sort of lost on camera. It's very subtle, but I still think it looks good, and I think it will look good on the card. Okay. Let's stick down this guy first. And it is paper. It's paperweight paper. So I think I should use tape on it. I really want to use the glue because it's faster and easier, but I'm just going to go for the tape so that it doesn't wrinkle. This Elmer's glue is great and fast dry and whatnot, but it doesn't lay as flat as the Tombow, which is a shame. The Tombow is beautiful glue. The Mono Multi, I mean, I don't know about their other glue. I don't know about other stuff that they do, but that one is really nice. So I think I'm just going to put the tape on the backs of everything right now while I've got it out. And I am a bit of a tape hog. I like there to be plenty of tape, but maybe not sticking off the edge. I just don't like to think that my pieces might come up. It really bothers me. I have a real issue with that for some reason. Or it's not an issue that it comes up, it's just an issue that I think it might come up. Although it is nice to leave yourself edges to tuck things under, so if you're not quite as crazy about putting tape everywhere as I am, it might be to your benefit. Almost done. We just have to get tape on the backs of these little banners and this strip. And then we'll be ready to stick down. And then the card will be finished, so that's cool. Stick it in the corner. Do it. There it is. Perfect. Bye, Vince. Enjoy your dinner. Have a great weekend. I'm going to the lake. It's going to be awesome. I'll see you next time. As I stop talking and start laughing to myself. Yeah, that's handy. Sorry, guys. I was just thinking about how funny it is that it takes... It's it's taken almost an hour to make this incredibly simple card. So that amuses me. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I had no idea what paper I was going to use, although you could watch a show where I know what paper I'm going to use, and it's still pretty drawn out process for me. But I think that's the point. Anybody can make a card if they want to. That piece does not go well there. Okay, just leave it off. Alright guys, we'll stick this down. We'll see what we get. And it'll be all done. And then I'll find out who's streaming. No, actually, I have a lot of packing to do, so I might have to put the stream, somebody else's stream on in the background while I do some packing. I guess maybe not a lot of packing. That's a little overstating it a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to put this guy sort of sticking off. Not too much, because I still want this to go in an envelope. And then I'm going to put this part down, the stripy bit. If I remember correctly, we put the red flower, stripy bit, and then the other two flowers, and the sentiment. Oh, but this one's got the orange going up. Don't stick it down already. Somewhere like that. Now you can take a photograph of your layout before you pull everything off to stick down. I find that works really great, especially if you have a huge layer of things or a large number of layers. If you take a photograph, that helps. Oh, nice! You did cards with little kids. Fun. Kids are fun, especially to craft with. Put that there. Oh, nice! They made cards for their mothers. It's very sweet. This one's going way down, way down, way down, way down. Ah, I got distracted. Easily distracted, that's me. Anyway, I think I'm going to put this over here. Alright. That's the card. Of course, it won't catch the light properly. It's cool. It's cool to get kids. I'm going to actually chop the edge of that. I think. Oh no, don't chop it. Don't chop it. It's cool to get kids involved in crafting. I think they do love it. And you can make super simple things like this, for example, which you can't see properly because of the lighting. There we go. You're the best. Alright. We made it. We made it through a card without even knowing what we were going to do to start with. So I want to thank everybody who was here today live watching, and I'd like to thank everybody who is watching on the video. Of course, on the video you're going, hey, you should put this flower over top, you should do this, but I can't hear you because you're just watching the video. Thank you, Munganana. Thank you. It did turn out into an actual card. Woohoo! Sometimes things work out for the best. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. The kids decided to do the crafting themselves. That is awesome. Well, I hope that anybody who's watching also decides to do crafting as well. Making cards or whatever it might be, and certainly with kids. But that is everything I have to show you today, so I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go gather up my clothes and bug spray and sunblock and some camp food, and I'm going to head out. So again, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you come to another stream in the future. I hope to be back next Saturday, and if not, it'll be the Saturday after that. You can go to my Facebook page, Dawn's Craft Riot, and you will hear the announcement as to whether the show will be on or not that particular week. I'm going to stop my broadcast now. I'm going to stop my recording now, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!